To imagine the possibilities of AI. I'm excited to be joined with fellow Titan Serena Yu, and we've got Osagie Ero from um, the Astranis Space Technologies company based out of San Francisco. Super
Mhm.
dope, Osagie, that you are a software engineer working on space technologies.
Yeah.
Can you kind of just do a quick introduction of yourself and the work you're doing?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everybody. My name is Osagie. Yeah, I'm a software engineer at Astranis. Been at Astranis for almost a year now. The work I do there, specifically, I'm on the ground software team, which is essentially the bridge between uh, us communicating with the satellite. So, Astranis at a high level, we are a telecommunications satellite company. We essentially put satellites into space and provide internet to countries around the world. There's a ton of good content on our website that I highly recommend people check out. We are doing pretty cool things and providing internet access around the world. And it's a mission that really resonates with me because, I have family in Nigeria and understanding that not all countries have the internet infrastructure, or at least it's not as ubiquitous as it might be in America. And even in America, we still have a lot of places that don't have consistently good internet. We realize that
Mhm.
it's something that is essential to, I think, humans living today. I mean, food, water, shelter, obviously first, and then right after that, internet.
And
That's
then
what we want their healthcare and then the internet, but I consider it top five after all the core human essentials have been met. So it's really cool the work that we're doing and being able to provide this access to folks around the world.
awesome. So beside that you're launching satellite into space, what leisure or fun things that you do beside work?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, I'm a huge basketball fan, so I know we're in the Bay Area, but I'm not a Warriors fan. I'm a big Lakers fan. I'm from Los Angeles.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Born and raised in LA, so I don't know if anyone's here from SoCal, but I myself love the Lakers, so I'm a huge Laker fan of. So I usually spend my time yelling at the TV screen because they are disappointing me this season, so that's fine. Um, I decided to pick up some artistic pursuits, if you will. Decided to play the saxophone, at least learn how to play the saxophone. So that's something I've been doing. I've been taking lessons for about like 4, 5, 6 months now. So I've gotten a lot better than 6 months before I started, where I couldn't play a sound. Now I can play some sounds that don't sound horrible. So I like that. What else do I like to do? Obviously I live in San Francisco, so it's really nice to kind of go around and eat different food. Try different restaurants and bars. Now that the weather is good, kind of check out more parks. I was just at Dolores last week. I like going to Dolores,
Mhm.
distant park. I like to spend my time at. I play basketball and also work with nonprofits on the side. Just kind of do technical consulting.
Well, that's amazing. So, moving from LA to San Francisco, what are the biggest changes that you've seen, like, in especially in the AI technology or, just in technology as a whole?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. That's a really good question because so I moved to the Bay almost 5 years ago. So August of 2019 is when I moved to the Bay. And I lived
Mm-hmm.
in Oakland for 3.5 years. And I
Mm-hmm.
moved from Oakland to San Francisco just last January. So I've been in SF for about 14 months, give or take, uh,
Mm-hmm.
in the Bay for almost 5 years. And from a technology perspective, a difference between LA and SF, I would say it's quite stark. I think right now SF is kind of like, as they call it, people used to say SF was in a doom loop. I've heard recently that people consider SF as in a boom loop.
Yeah.
And to that I say, as right now, obviously you guys are AI company, seeing all the AI companies, kind of come up. Obviously OpenAI, you have Anthropic, Scale AI, obviously companies such as yourself, all kind of reinvigorating San Francisco. And I'm going to different meetups. I was just at the Digital Garage last week for an event on AI powered grant writing that was hosted
Yes.
by
Uh-huh.
NCLF, which is
Mm-hmm.
a nonprofit in the city. And I've learned that there's just so much like activity and buzz right now from a technology perspective, and it's just not like that. At least not as much like that in Los Angeles. LA, for better or for worse, is more Hollywood centric. Which don't get me wrong, I love that. But in
Mm-hmm.
terms of technology, I would say there's a little bit more of a technical focus. In SF,
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine there's more AI companies in SF.
Yeah, definitely. I just literally read somebody posted on LinkedIn, saying that in San Francisco they host AI events more than like a lot of different countries.
Hmm.
A month is equivalent to other countries in a year. So definitely, there's so many AI events, especially if you're living in San Francisco, that you could go to all the time, every single day.
I
So,
truly agree. I truly agree.
what
I
are
use
some
the
of what are some of the main things that you're seeing from an AI perspective in terms of how it's making work and life possible in new ways that weren't possible 2-3 years ago, that weren't hitting the mainstream, like whether that's in your work as a software engineer or in your life as somebody going through San Francisco, like how has AI changed things?
That's a good question. So as much as I am a software engineer, I'm also like to consider myself like an educator. That's something like I do. So both my mom's a teacher, and discussing with her like okay, how is, for example, AI impacted education is something that her and I talk about a lot because she's a teacher, she's in the classroom, and she sees a lot of different things. Um,
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that wasn't possible even to one thing I will say is that going through being a college student today, I think it'd be drastically, vastly different than it was. I just graduated college just almost 5 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. But if I would had something like ChatGPT going through college right now, I think that would drastically have changed the game. Not because it's like, oh, I could like cheat on the homework and write an essay. Like that actually
Mm-hmm.
is the last thing I care about. The thing is like having like a thing I can talk to and to teach me stuff when I don't understand. Like, how do I solve this problem? How should I think about it?
Mm-hmm.
That thing, it's like just a personal office hours in my pocket where I can talk to this bot and it can teach me stuff. And to me, that's the most powerful things. I know it could do stuff for me, but the biggest thing for me as a person who's educationally minded, it can teach me things. And I could ask you particular questions and learning how to prompt these tools and like understanding how to extract the best information, is just a new skill set. And so for me, the biggest thing learning has been impacted greatly. The way I learn is a little bit different now, even in my day to day. I work just certain concepts or certain trade-offs that I'm making. Like, okay, should I use this framework or that framework, or should I or what learning more particular technologies, understanding the pros and cons of what situations to deploy certain technologies. As a software engineer, it's really helpful because you have a wealth of knowledge, and I can always cross-reference it with Google.
So, quick clarification,
Yeah,
because you mentioned something that I think is really interesting, which is you're using ChatGPT or you're using your AI tools, your LLMs, to have like a conversational brainstorming buddy, like somebody who's an expert that you can, just ask questions to. You're not necessarily using it to write the paper for college or do your software work for you, but you're using it. I just wanted to clarify that point for the people that are listening, because we talk a lot about some educators talk about the negative sides of letting AI,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you're highlighting some of the real positive potential there.
exactly. No, I completely agree.
Yeah. So, as a software development at Astranis, so I know that you guys are a government satellite company, right? So
Mm.
how are you adopting AI in in the satellite space? And what are the struggles that you're dealing with? And how do you see that AI could really, help the work that you're doing if you guys are able to, utilize fully with AI?
Yeah. So one clarification is we're not technically like a government satellite company. We do on our website we do say we work with the government in some capacity, but I wouldn't consider ourselves a government satellite company. But
Gotcha.
secondly, we at this particular point in time, AI is still pretty new, and right now, I mean, it's new, but it's not right. It's generative
Mm-hmm.
AI, AI itself is different.
Mm-hmm.
AI is a huge field. You have machine learning, deep learning, computer vision.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on and on. The most times when people ask me the question, "Oh, okay, are you using AI nowadays?" is they tend to refer to like generative AI, and then there's all the LLMs and all the great stuff. As of right now, based on the work we're doing, we're still a startup. One thing to call out is that we are a startup. I think only 8 years old. I just don't see in the short term us using AI right now because it's still, I want to say it's unproven, but when you're working with something delicate as things that go into space where one tiny thing could go wrong, and that is the end of that. You know, we can't really,
Right.
oh, bring the satellite back down, fix it, send it back up. At least not yet. So once you send it up there, something goes wrong, it's kind of done. And so because of the high sensitivity of the work that we do, at this particular time, from what I'm allowed to say, we're not really using AI. You know, I can definitely speculate, oh, in the world where we could use AI, just from a space technology perspective, not necessarily specific to Astranis. I can definitely elaborate because I definitely have more experience in the space industry now than I did like a year ago. But in terms of like our company, in the short term, this doesn't seem to be at least right away the appetite to go down that route, because we still have other things we got to focus on first.
For sure. That's totally fair. And don't want to break any rules here. But I think this is a great moment then to segue into the Titan device, the wearable AI device. We're going to show you a teaser video, and we have our keynote tomorrow at 10 a.m. So, you know, launch, you know, the announcement of the new product. We'd love to invite you to the VIP list. It's just something you can attend to kind of see what the product can actually do, kind of like in a demo format. But this will just be a preview. And I just want to add to this that there's a video on it. It pairs with your phone. Oh no, we lost Serena. It pairs with your phone, and it's might give you Star Trek vibes. But with that,
okay. That's cool. It's funny. So I saw the disc rotating. You know, love the Steve Jobs-esque turtleneck. But yeah, that looked, the show, it looked cool. So, but what does it do? That's the real question.
Yeah, super great point. Welcome back, Serena. We just put the video.
Perfect.
So, you know, a lot of the tools that are out there are generative or prompt oriented, like you prompt the tool to do something. And while our device is capable of doing exactly that, it's also intuitive AI, meaning that you give it permission to connect to certain apps on your phone. And, you know, based off of that data, it can start monitoring you know, what's happening in real time and make recommendations to you. So some example use cases would be, you know, the most common one would probably be what Apple Watch popularized with the heart monitor, right? So if somebody's having a heart attack, we're going to alert 911 for you. In our case, we can be even more preemptive than that. Titan could say, hey, Osagie, we've noticed your heart has been irregular this last couple of days. Do you want us to schedule do you want me to schedule a doctor's appointment for you? And you can just say, hey Titan, that sounds good, go ahead. Or it can like auto transcribe, you know, conversations that you're having if you want it to do that. So, you know, in a business networking perspective, that can happen. And it could, you know, I can maybe prompt it to do things for me. So it's definitely tapping into the large action models. And because it's a combination of intuitive AI, which hasn't really happened yet in the mainstream, and then building into large action models, bringing that into the mainstream, the possibilities are really kind of endless. And that's kind of why we have this whole show to talk about, you know, what do you think? What do you think could happen, knowing now what's potential there?
Right. So it's funny, when I think of this device that I saw, it reminds me of I think it was Humane. Is that the other similar wearable device? You know, I'm curious because, you know, I've heard this promise where it's like, oh, like unprompted is just kind of someone who's like kind of like anticipating things ahead of your prompting, if you will. And it sounds cool, but it creates this like nebulous cloud in my head where I'm like, oh, the possibilities are endless, which is great. But also, I don't know what that means at the same time. Like, oh, it can mean so many things. So I'm kind of curious. It's like, what is like a core example of like, I guess like a core use case of like the wearable that you've been able to experience, or that you guys been able to consistently like show? I'm assuming you guys have been able, maybe you're not allowed to say, because I know tomorrow's the keynote. So maybe
tomorrow, yes.
Where you get to say oh, this is everything that it can do. But you know, you know, from a wearable perspective, obviously, Apple Watch piloting the wearable market, and now that's becoming more acceptable. We have all these devices like Whoop, or you have the Aura,
Mhm.
and so there's more. So this is like second device I've seen of like a thing that kind of clips here and has like a camera. So it's like I almost feel like it's like a body cam almost, which is going to be very interesting. But at the same time, it's like interact with your environment and keeping track and being able to assist you. So that would be cool. It would be nice before I even think twice. Like this thing is already kind of giving me prompts and stuff like that. I'm curious about like what the interface would be like. And do I have to talk to it? Is there like an app that I can discuss? I mean, just that's something that I'm curious about. And how I guess the interface of how do I like interact, and does it blend in seamlessly with my day? Because if those things blend in seamlessly, then the whole world, then the world's your oyster. Then you're not having a AI powered companion ready to we'll have a little Jarvis, which I think is really pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, so it is integrated with all of your apps, like your native apps that you already have, like Google Maps, all of the apps that it will sync seamlessly with our Titan AI. So it will also train on like LM models as well. So just whatever you're interacting the most with. Sorry, there's like a phone call.
I was like, let's say
Yeah.
ship one.
No worries. So whatever you kind of like train, whatever you feed the, our Titan AI wearable, what do you feed more of it with? Then it's kind of like personalizing around you. If they see you are more using, like if you're searching a lot more on like saxophone, how to learn, or like, if you go into a lot of networking events that are more like nonprofit. So, it would just serve you more of those, news or locations. And so, basically like the possibility is endless, but it's also kind of like, intuitive as well. And it just kind of like interaction and personalizing around your activities as well.
That's very cool. That's very cool. I can't wait to see the keynote because I want to see it in action, because I like the idea of it. I just want to know what I can do with it. Like that's what I'm
Yes,
excited to see.
definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, awesome. If you haven't registered, I'll send you the link, but I think you
Yeah.
might have already. I'm not sure, but yeah.
I don't
Well,
think
thank you so much. Yeah, also follow us on all of our social media as well. Titan AI underscore as well. Just if you missed the keynotes, follow us on all of our social medias, to follow our journey as well.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I actually found you guys' website before this, like a couple of them. I think last week, Friday. I saw a similar video to what you showed. So it was,
Awesome. Yeah, so tomorrow you'll see a whole lot more. So I can't wait to see you there. Okay.
I'm
All right.
excited.
Sounds
No,
good. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you.